Richard III, the last king of the House of York, the last Plantagenet, and the last English king to die in battle. History paints him as a monster deformed, ruthless, and guilty of the greatest crime of the age, murdering his own nephews, the princes in the Tower. But was Richard truly the villain England remembers? Or the victim of one of the greatest propaganda campaigns in history? Richard was not born to be king. He was the younger brother of Edward IV, loyal and fiercely devoted. For years, he fought to defend the Yorkist crown during the Wars of the Roses. He won victories on the battlefield. He served as Lord Protector. By every measure, he was a man trusted with power. But when his brother died suddenly in 1483, the throne passed to Edward's son, a boy of just 12 years old. Richard was named Protector of the realm. The boy was meant to be crowned Edward V, but he never wore the crown. Edward V and his younger brother were placed in the Tower of London, supposedly for safety. And then they vanished. No body, no witness, only silence. Rumors spread like wildfire. The boys were dead, and the finger pointed to Richard. Who else stood to gain? Soon after, Richard was crowned king. To many, the case seemed closed. But pause for a moment. Did Richard truly order their deaths? Or were the princes victims of another enemy, perhaps the Tudors, who would soon seize power? A century later, William Shakespeare gave us the Richard we know today, crooked-backed, snarling, dripping with evil. A man who kills without conscience. A man who claws his way to the throne. But Shakespeare wasn't writing history. He was writing for the Tudors, the very dynasty that replaced Richard. Demonizing Richard made their rule look righteous. It turned a fallen king into a legendary villain. So how much of Richard's reputation is history, and how much is theater? Bosworth Field, 1485. Richard rides into battle against Henry Tudor, the last charge of the last Plantagenet. He refuses to flee. He cuts down enemy after enemy, and then, surrounded, he falls. Contemporary accounts say Richard fought bravely. Some even admired him as a warrior king who refused to surrender. But in death, his reputation was sealed not by his deeds, but by his enemies. The Tudors had won, and Richard became the perfect villain to justify their crown. Centuries later, in 2012, Richard's body was found beneath a car park in Leicester. Not the twisted hunchback of legend, but a man with scoliosis, a curved spine. Yes, but nothing like the grotesque figure of Shakespeare. The discovery reignited the debate. Was Richard the black-hearted tyrant, or a victim of slander written by those who defeated him? So Richard III, villain who murdered children, or victim of a story written by his enemies? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you love uncovering the hidden truths behind history's most mysterious figures, like and subscribe because more untold stories are on the way.